Transitioning to another team in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints, rather. The Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champs, matched up yesterday. And Sean Payton, when it comes to the regular season, has just dominated the Bucs since he's been the head coach of the Saints since 2006. He's 11-5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. He's got a substantial winning record both at home and on the road against the Bucs since he's been the head coach of the Saints. He's 3-0 in the regular season against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Now, obviously, we saw in the NFC divisional game last year, that can be thrown out the window. Brady and the Bucs went into that same stadium and knocked off in the Superdome, knocked off the Saints in the NFC divisional game with Drew Brees at the time. But the interesting thing is there are a select number of coaches that you always just give an advantage to and give them at least a shot at beating any given football team on a Sunday, just because of their brilliance in their game plan, in their coaching, the way that they prepare. Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, of course, all the time. Mike Tomlin, in 15 seasons as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, has never had a sub-500 record. And Sean Payton is part of that upper echelon, that upper tier of coaches that just consistently come up with game plans that work out perfectly to beat their opponents. He is one of these guys who just constantly displays his genius every single Sunday. And he's one of these guys who, regardless of the opponent, regardless of the records, you give the Saints a chance because you know that Sean Payton is going to be meticulous in his preparation. He's maniacal that way. And he's going to come out with a game plan that's going to be effective. Whether or not it results in a win, hard to always know. But he's going to put the Saints in a great position to win every single game that they play. That's how brilliant of an offensive mind and of a head coach that he is. And the fact that Jameis Winston goes down, and I'm going to touch on his injury that he sustained to his ACL and a little bit to his MCL in a second. The fact that he goes down and Trevor Siemian comes in because Taysom Hill is injured at the moment, battling with a concussion. The fact that he was able to pull this out with this roster, the Saints had no business winning this game yesterday. And not because they pulled out some lucky performance, just the mere fact going into the contest, you look at the rosters on paper, you're saying, how in the world are the Saints going to win this game? And it speaks volumes about the coaching of Sean Payton to be able to insert Trevor Siemian and still have it operate. Alvin Kamara is obviously a fantastic running back. The defense has been stepping up. Defense picked off Brady twice, including the game-sealing pick six. And so you look at this roster and you're saying, well, they actually have some good players on this team. And you look up at the standings, and they're 5-2. They're only half a game back of the Bucs in the NFC South, which is almost unfathomable given at the start of the season, most people, including myself, didn't predict that the Saints would even have a chance at making the postseason. Well, now they got a really good shot, but the problem is, unfortunately, they probably lost more than they won yesterday because the injury that Jameis Winston did sustain to his ACL did not look good. There's some potential damage also to his MCL that's being reported. And it's really concerning because the reality is you look at the Saints' position right now, and again, only 2 losses. They're 5-2 on the season. One of the best records in the NFC, surprisingly. And they were in a great position to reach the playoffs. They had quality wins over the Titans. Excuse me, not the Titans, but the Packers, the Patriots, and now the Bucs. There's only 4 games left on their schedule where you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, I don't know if they can actually beat these teams. That's the Titans, the Bills, the Cowboys, and again on the road at the Bucs. Those 4 games, likely losses, but the other games are all winnable. The other 6 games are all winnable. They could easily finish 11 and 6, make the postseason. And what resonated with me were the remarks that Sean Payton made about Jameis Winston in the post-game conference. And you could hear just kind of the sadness in Sean Payton's voice. He said that he cried when he saw Jameis Winston enter the locker room. And he paid him the ultimate compliment because he compared him to Drew Brees, not in terms of their ability to throw the football, not even in terms of their leadership styles, but he made a real poignant point, which was that whenever you look at the body language of Jameis Winston, you never know if he's winning or if he's losing, which is something he said he often said about Drew Brees. And that's something substantial because this is a guy in Jameis Winston who's been maligned, who's been questioned because of his kind of off the field transgression. Say what you want about Jameis Winston, who he is as a person, who he is on and off the field. But this is a guy who has at least one redeeming quality, and that's his desire to learn, his desire to get better. We've seen how much he's been soaking in since he's come back and been on his best behavior with the Saints, and he wants to show up and lead the team. By all reports, by all accounts, he's been a great teammate. He's been a great presence in the locker room, and he is constantly just trying to get better. He's not perfect. He's imperfect. He's flawed. But to hear those type of words from a revered coach in Sean Payton, to speak so glowingly about Jameis Winston, about the fact that his body language is actually one of the most positive signs for the guy, I think it is profound. I really do. He didn't have to say any of that. He opted to do it. And it's a shame that the Saints might lose him, especially for this year, because upon first glance, it didn't look great. I'm hoping and praying for Jameis Winston that it's not a major ACL injury, that hopefully he can recover on a short timeline. If he is gone for the season, I still think there are enough wins on their schedule, whether it be Taysom Hill, whether it be Trevor Siemian, for them to still come out on top and have a chance at making the postseason. But that was just a devastating blow potentially for them. So hopefully that's not the case. And again, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for Jameis Winston. So he was reducing his turnovers. He was taking care of the football. He was showing signs of improvement every single year, and just clearly showing his appreciation for this city, for this team, getting this opportunity. And the Saints are just improving, and it's an impressive win, but they might have lost more than they won in this one.